The alien woman stood frozen the moment she saw a human man. A sci-fi short story of kindness and humanity. The winds of Talara, 9 howled softly across its broken cities. Once a thriving colony, it had become a silent graveyard after the war between humans and the alien Ziri. Now, only scavengers and shadows remained. Callan Price walked alone through the ruins, a former soldier turned salvager, searching for scraps and hope in equal measure. His scanner flickered, an energy reading nearby. He adjusted his mask and stepped deeper into the crumbling hangar. That's when he saw her. She stood perfectly still, like time itself had stopped. Her silver skin shimmered under the dim light, and her eyes, wide and filled with something between fear and awe, locked onto his. She was Ziri. One of them. Callan's instinct told him to be cautious. The war hadn't been kind. But something in her eyes made him pause. She looked lost. Slowly, he raised his hands. "I'm not going to hurt you." Her voice was barely a whisper. "You're human." "Yeah," he replied gently. "Name's Callan." "What's yours?" "Thyra." Suddenly, her legs gave out. She crumpled to the floor, her body weak and cold. Without thinking, Callan rushed to catch her, wrapping her in his coat. Her skin was icy. "You need help," he murmured. She looked up at him, confused. "Why?" "I'm your enemy." Callan shook his head. "You're just someone who needs help." That night, he built a fire with scraps of wiring and old batteries. He gave her the last of his food and sat beside her in silence. Days passed. Thyra regained her strength slowly, always watching him, always wondering. One evening, she spoke. "They told us humans were monsters. Cold, violent, soulless. But you gave me your food. Your coat. Your warmth." Callan smiled, a sadness in his eyes. "I've lost too much to believe in enemies anymore." As the air turned toxic from a nearby gas leak, Callan's rebreather started failing. Without hesitation, he removed it, and placed it over Thyra's face. She panicked. "No, Callan, you'll die." "It's all right," he said softly. "You're going to live. That's what matters." Tears fell from her silver eyes, real, aching tears. In that moment, she didn't see a human. She saw a soul who chose compassion over hate. Weeks later, when rescue teams arrived, they found a lone Ziri survivor wandering the wastelands, desperately searching for a human man who had given everything to save her. He was never found. But his kindness lived on. Thyra returned to her world and told their leaders the truth. She spoke of a man who had no reason to help her, but did anyway. Because he could. Because kindness needed no language, no shared species, only a heart willing to give. Years later, she helped create the first peace accord between humans and Ziri. Every time she stood before a crowd, she would speak of Callan Price. Not as a soldier, but as the first human who made her believe in something greater than survival, hope. Message. True humanity shines brightest in the darkest places. Sometimes, all it takes to change the world, is one selfless act.